back to Tradingofftilt. In this video, we're going to be going over my daily update on Bitcoin, and we have quite a few Elliott wave counts to go through today. But before we get into it, I want to show you guys this channel that we're looking at right here. And we couldn't really call it a channel until we put in this low right here. So we had 3 points of contact here, here, and here. But once we did put in that low, you guys can see we came all the way to the midline right here, got a rejection all the way down here, came above the bin line all the way to the top trend line of the channel, got a rejection, back down, rejection, back down, rejection once again. Then we finally came all the way down back to the midline. And now we got a rise above it recently, above the top channel trend line. Then we came back down to the channel trend line, and we're kind of seeing a back test of the top trend line right here. So you can imagine if we fall below this top trend line, then in theory we could come all the way back down to the midline right here. That would be around 33K once again. Or we could come all the way back down to the channel low, which would be around 25, 26K. So that's what we're looking at in theory based on this channel. You guys could already see based on, even before the channel low is put in right here, we could see quite a few reactions around the midline, which kind of indicate that this is a pretty nice channel to keep on your chart. So for example, you get a reaction here, 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 and even some back here. Not perfect reactions around the midline, but you get quite a few reactions really close to it. So overall, this is a pretty strong channel to keep on your charts. Even though we've traded above it, I think it's still going to be pretty important to keep in our minds. So that's what I wanted to show you guys first of all. Now let's go into what we're looking at, more locally in this section right here. So I'm going to hide the channel, and basically what we're looking at today is one of two options in this section right here. Now for this more local section, we have quite a few options to be looking at. However, just for this section right here, simply we have an ABC up into these highs right here, which will look a little bit like this. Where we put an ABC up into this high right here, we came down for a wave 1. As so, this could be a wave 2. We could be coming down for a 3, 4, 5. Now, like I mentioned to you guys in my previous daily updates, I didn't really favor this being a wave 1 or this being an impulse wave, because if it were, then you'd expect higher volume. However, we get higher volume in the correction if this were to be a wave 1 and this were to be a wave 2 up here. Then you want to see lower volume in the correction of the impulse than you get in the impulse itself. And we actually see higher volume in this correction right here if this were to be a wave 2. So I didn't really favor this being a 1, 2, but it still is a possibility. It's not invalidated until we come beyond the end of wave C, as you guys know. So that's the first option we're looking at. Now the second option we're looking at is this being an impulse up here into the highs, which would look a little bit like this. This is probably my preferred count to count as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that would be putting in a wave A or a wave 1. I prefer to say it's a wave A because I'm going off the triangle count. But this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up into the wave A for a truncated wave 5th. Then we get an ABC zigzag down for the wave B. And now we're coming out for the wave C, which should be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have multiple ways to count this wave C, which I'm going to get into later. But that's one way we could count it. This isn't invalidated as a wave 4 until we come into the price territory of this wave 1. So if we do come into the price territory of this wave 1, then this cannot be a wave 4, so it has to be something else, which we're going to get into a little bit later. I just kind of wanted to show you guys what we're looking at overall in this larger section right here to give you guys some context. So that's mainly what we're looking at in this section right here. Now, keep in mind, we have to be pretty cautious because if this is a 1, 2, then we could just expect us to be shooting down here for wave 3. Now, we want to be keeping our eyes on the volume because that's going to be an indicator on kind of what we're doing. If this is an impulse wave and we're coming down for wave 3, then you want to see pretty high volume. You want to see the volume picking up because wave 3 volume tends to be the highest volume of an impulse. If this is a 1, 2, 3, we're going to come up for a 4, down for a 5. So you want to be keeping your eyes, peeled and looking at the volume. If this is corrected, you're going to want to see decreasing volume. We're kind of getting that right now. Well, I guess decreasing volume if this is a corrective move right here. So this volume right here is actually a little bit lower than it was leading up to this high right here. So we could probably imagine it's more likely just based on the volume profile alone that this is a corrective move rather than a more impulsive motive wave. All right, so let's zoom into this section right here. I want to show you guys what we could be looking at in this more local section right here, and we have quite a few options to be considering. The first one being pretty similar to what I showed you guys yesterday would be this one right here, where this is all a 1, 2, 3, 4. Now keep in mind, we don't invalidate this being a wave 4 until we really cross this line right here, which would be coming into for the price territory of this wave 1. So we want to keep our eyes on that, because if we do come below this line, then what we could be looking at, instead of this being a wave 3 up here, there are a few options we could be looking at. The first one would be that this is all a wave 1 here, as we had before. It would actually be like this. This would be a wave 1 here. This would be a wave 2. But instead of calling this a 3-4, this could all be an extended 3-4. So this, or an extended wave 3. So this could be a 3 up here, 4 here, 5 up here. And what we would be looking at in that situation is that this would all be an extended wave 3, which would look like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this would all be 1, 2 of one lesser degree, so it would look like this: 1, 2 of subminuet degree, where this is minuet, this would be subminuet, this would be 3, 4, 5. It would be a pretty extended wave 3, because you guys can already see this 1, 2 has taken about the same length of time as this 1, 2 right here. So that's what we're looking at if this is not a wave 3 for here. But we have yet to see if we cross this into the price territory of this wave 1, and that's when we're gonna have to consider this count. But until then, this could still be a 3, 4 for all we know. So we have, or it could be an ABC. Well, that's just kind of what we could be looking at. Alternatively, instead of saying this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, this could actually be a 1, 2, and this could all be an extended wave 3. So I'm going to zoom in and show you guys another possibility we could be looking at. So let's go ahead and delete this. And another option we could be looking at is calling this all. So this is all a 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we're looking at in this situation right here is a zigzag. So this would be leading diagonal down, where this wave 3, instead of ending right here and then calling this an A, B, C, this would actually end right here. And that we'd call this all a 1, 2. This would be a 3, 4, 5 to complete the subminuet wave, or rather the minuet wave 3. Then we come down for an A, B, C zigzag. It's a pretty ugly zigzag, I have to admit. You know, this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a leading diagonal for the wave A, B, C for the wave B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the wave C. Now, we can't really come below this low right here, because that's going to be, if we come below this low right here, then we're going to be coming below this volume support in this area right here. And if we do that, then we don't really have any volume support below that until we reach this volume support down here. So we can imagine if we really, unless we get a swing failure pattern as so, or we just kind of dip right down and come right back up, then we're probably going to end up dumping all the way down here, or very close. Maybe we might find support around, you know, maybe around this structural support right here, somewhere in here. That's a possibility, and we have this very small order block right here. We might get a reaction around there, but more likely, I think, in order to find some stronger support, we'd probably have to come all the way down here at least to where this 1, 2 are. Now, if we fall below this wave 2, then that's going to be invalidating this being a 1, 2 of the third. So that's going to be really activating our bearish counts if we were to come below this wave 2, because that can't mean this is going to be a 1, 2, and this is going to be a part of a third. In that case, that would more likely indicate that this is going to be an A, B, C if we do end up coming below this low right here. Now, of course, keep a look at the volume profile. If we start to get volume that starts picking up as we make our way down, as so, then that's going to start to give us indications that this could indeed be an A, B, C up into these highs, as opposed to a 1, 2, 3. And what we could be expecting, like I mentioned, is just simply a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the first way we could count this wave 3, 4. And like I mentioned earlier, another way we could count it, this would be kind of similar to what I showed you guys yesterday. It would be calling it all an expanded flat. But yesterday I was saying it could have been put in right here where this wave 1 was put in, because we could have counted down a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for an ending diagonal. However, what it turns out that this could have been a leading diagonal to this wave C. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's really the best way we could count this wave C. If we're counting this as an ABC expanded flat, then we really have to say this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it would be a very long wave C. As you guys can see, we come to the 2.618. So we come to 2.618 times the length of wave A, which is a very, very long target for the wave C. So I would not say it's super likely this is the correct count. Well, I'm gonna say this count is probably it's probably the same as this count right here in terms of probabilities, but they both have the same result. We bottomed out right here for whether this is an ABC here or whether this is an ABC expanded flat as so. Now, in both these counts, we want to keep this low right here that we put in around 40.8K, because if we fall below it, like I mentioned, we're going to probably be coming into the price territory of the wave 1 all the way down here and perhaps even lower down here. So this is a pretty strong level to hold. So unless we get a swing failure pattern right below and then come back up, I'm going to be expecting us to come quite far down here. And that's going to be around 38.5K. approximately to about 37.5K. So that is the second option we could be looking at, this being an ABC here. Now to clarify, this would be an ABC in this wave A. I could zoom in, but you could get a 3-wave move out of this wave A. Then you get an ABC in this wave B, then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this wave C. Then the last option we could be looking at in this section right here, which is probably the most simple option, is just calling this a wave ABC. This would all be a zigzag. So this would be a wave A here, B here for a zigzag. This would be ABC. And then this would be a 1, 2. This would actually be a 3, 4, 5 into this wave C. So to clarify, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would all be one lower degree, as so. And then we're coming down for this wave 1. And if this were to be an impulse, then that's going to be, if we were to come lower, so like I mentioned, it's possible we come lower, but if we were to come lower, I'm going to say it's more likely for this to be an impulse, because at that point, unless we get some sort of wave B here and then come down for wave C, then it's not really going to make a lot of sense for this all to be a corrective move if we just end up coming down here after consolidating, right around here and then come all the way down to this zone right here. It's going to look a lot more impulsive than corrective. So what that's going to tell me is that this is probably going to be an ABC. This is a wave 1 down here. We're going to come up for wave 2, which would probably come into the price territory of the wave 4. That would probably be a good target to be looking out for, and then come down for a 3, 4, 5. So to clarify once more, just so you guys can kind of understand what I am thinking, if we come below this without getting a wave B, if we just kind of consolidate here and then come right down here without getting this wave B, which kind of comes up here, and then, because if we do get a wave B, we could at least say this is a wave A, this is a wave B, this is a wave C, down for a wave 2 of the third, where this would be a 1, 2, or it could be coming higher. But if we just if we come lower today, then we're not going to have enough time to consolidate for that wave B, and it's going to look a lot more like an impulse for just simply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I hope you guys understand kind of what I mean by that, but that's kind of what I'm thinking if we do come lower today or really soon, all the way down here at least. And let's see if there's anything else I want to go over before I wrap this video up. Yeah, that's mainly what I'm looking at, guys. I'm still kind of going with this being a 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'm very aware that this would be a pretty sharp wave 4 right here. We already came past the 0.5. Typically, wave 4s come into the 0.382. They're pretty shallow corrections for the most part. So if we take a Fibonacci retracement from the bottom to the high, you guys could already see we can't pass the 0.5 retracement level. That would be more typical of a wave 2 for the most part. Well, wave 2s tend to be around the 0.5 or the 0.618. Typically, the wave 4s tend to be around the 0.32 because they tend to be more shallow corrections. So especially if we were to come to the 0.618, we'd be overlapping this wave 1. Then we would invalidate this being a 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's basically what I'm looking at today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video in the Discord server. Take care. Bye.